The most outrageous deal in Nigeria's history, the longest concession period ever, the plan of Tinubu's government on Enugu Airport. Except a late-hour miracle happens. The Akanu Ibiam International Airport, also known as the Enugu International Airport, will be sold, lost, and gone. It is one of the two only operational international airports in the entire southeast Nigeria. Tinubu's government has secretly concluded plans to concession the airport for 80 years to a company that doesn't exist in Nigeria. Such a thing has never happened in Nigeria's history, not even under the watch of the very incompetent Buhari. In case you are wondering, what does concession mean and what does it really mean that the government wants to concession the Akanu Ibiam Airport, we will explain in clear terms. Concession is a contract arrangement where the government gives a private company the right to reconstruct, rebuild, finance, maintain, or manage its property, project, or infrastructure. While the private company is managing the government property, it reserves the right to receive the revenue such property will generate. The private company will hold the property for a specified number of years before they return the property back to the government. In the history of Nigeria, there is no concession that has lasted more than 30 years. But in the case of the Akanu Ibiam Airport, the Federal Ministry of Aviation, through the support of the Enugu state government, are giving out the airport for a whole 80 years. This has never happened in Nigeria's history. The plan to concession the Akanu Ibiam International Airport came to public notice the first time on August 31st, 2020. The former Minister of Aviation under Buhari, Hadi Sirika, made the plans public. Do you remember who Hadi Sirika is? Well, you may simply call him one of Nigeria's most corrupt aviation ministers ever. Yes, he will forever be remembered for the Nigeria Air scam, where he launched a fake airline for Nigeria. He claimed to have bought an airplane for the Nigeria Air worth over 80 billion naira. Meanwhile, he only hired an aircraft from Ethiopian Airline, repainted it, and presented it to the entire country. Immediately they finished the launching ceremony, they flew the hired airplane back to its owners in Ethiopia. He wrapped the deal and pocketed 80 billion naira. But then, Hadi Sirika and his Nigeria Air scam are not our focus in this video. Let's come back to the topic. Hadi Sirika revealed the plans for the Akanu Ibiam Airport concession in 2020 during a ceremony held for the reopening of the airport. The airport was closed for months for repairs on the local wing. In that ceremony, Sirika revealed that Buhari had approved and released 1 billion naira for repair work to go on at the international wing of the airport. He went ahead to boast that work will be concluded and flights would commence at the international wing from September 2020 once the COVID-19 lockdown was lifted. That same international wing of the airport, which Buhari released 1 billion naira for, is what the Tinubu government have planned to concession to a certain unknown private company. They claim that the private company would repair the international wing and bring it up to global standard. You are wondering, just like us, what happened to the 1 billion naira that Buhari released? Well, only Buhari and Hadi Sirika have the answers. Tinubu government came in and Festus Keyamo set his eyes on the airport. He concluded that the only way for the airport to function is by concessioning it to a private company. He and his team, in collaboration with Enugu state government led by Governor Peter Mba, have already found the company for the concession and secretly agreed on the terms for the concession, even though the labor union and Nigerians who know about the deal kick against it. What are the details of the concession? The concession agreement is contained in a 64-page book, but we will break down the most relevant sections. The concession is a partnership arrangement called the Public-Private Partnership, PPP. The company involved is Aero Alliance Consortium. We shall discuss about the company shortly. By the agreement, the company will upgrade the airport to world-class standard and manage the already existing staff of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, FAAN, working at the airport. The revenue the company makes during the concession period will be shared between the company and the government. But this is tricky. The company will reserve full control of the revenue the airport generates through cargo fees, rentals, ground handling, parking, VIP lounge fees. They do not need the approval of the government to collect these monies. The only thing the government will need to approve is the tariff the company will charge, such as landing fees and passengers' charges. The tariffs will be used to take care of the maintenance and operation of the airport, debt repayment, and others. Perhaps the most ridiculous item in the concession agreement is the duration clause. That is how long it will last. It is to last for 80 years. What is worse is that the company may even get an extension of 20 years. This will make the total 100 years. Not one economic or political analyst has made sense of such a deal. Who are Aero Alliance Consortium? Besides the duration of the deal, one thing that is shady about it is the company the government is selling off the airport to, known as the concessionaire. Not only is the company owned by foreigners and operated outside Nigeria, its details remain secret. The name of the company is Aero Alliance Consortium. A simple search on Google reveals that Aero Alliance Consortium is a high-tech aerospace company that is located in North Texas, USA. Google says the company specializes in engineering and manufacturing for government and major aircraft operators. That is the end. Nothing more reveals about the company. A further dig into the details of the company reveals nothing. For instance, the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, the agency in charge of registering companies and managing their profiles, doesn't have any details of Aero Alliance Consortium. We searched for the company on the CAC website and it said, not found. This means that the company is not registered and doesn't exist in Nigeria. Why then is Tinubu's government and the Corporation of Enugu State Government concessioning the Enugu International Airport, the oldest and biggest international airport in the southeast, to a company that is unknown or not registered in Nigeria? Well, your guess is as good as ours. Just to be clear, a company that is not registered in Nigeria does not qualify to bid for concession of any assets in Nigeria. According to the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA, local and foreign companies that will participate in concession or conduct business in Nigeria must register with the CAC. Although there are exceptions to the law, such as a case where the federal government invites the company specially to handle a specific project. However, this doesn't include concession. For the sake of transparency and safety, the company has to be registered in Nigeria. But of course, under Tinubu, anything atrocity can happen. With Aero Alliance Consortium, the concessionaire, remaining a secret unknown company, it is obvious that the government violated the law guiding concession. The Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission (ICRC) Establishment (ETC) Act 2025 has mapped out requirements and guidelines for concessions of public properties in Nigeria. One of such is that there must be competitive bid by companies on the property the government put up for concession. There was no time the Akanu Ibiam Airport concession was put up for public bid. 2. The companies bidding for the concession must show proof of financial capacity. They must have a minimum net worth of 30 billion naira, and this must be made public. No one knows and can access the financial statement of Aero Alliance Consortium, the company Tinubu's government is set to concession the Akanu Ibiam Airport to. Those are not the only violations in the so-called concession. By the ICRC provisions, the period of the concession should not be more than 20 to 30 years. Why is Festus Keyamo and his team, under Tinubu's supervision, seeking to concession Akanu Ibiam Airport for 80 years in clear violation of the law? To prove that the government deliberately spreading the period of the airport concession to 80 years has criminal undertone, let us review the durations of the previous airports concessioned in Nigeria. The Abuja International Airport lasted for 20 years, the Lagos International Airport lasted for 20 years, the Kano International Airport lasted for 30 years. So why is the Enugu International Airport, the first and only international airport in the southeast, lasting for 80 years? For sure, these questions cannot be answered by Festus Keyamo, Tinubu's government, or the Enugu state government, because the concession itself is wrapped in fraud. Will this fraud be allowed to stand? Nigerians, and particularly the eastern region, will need to answer.
Free Life Media.